Amazon has been making some pretty big moves, declaring its very, very big seriousness about busting into the entertainment industry. Of course, regardless of what you think about the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power series, they showed they were dead serious about it by investing $1 billion into it. Now, whether you think it turned out good or turned out bad, you got to acknowledge that meant they were serious. And they've continued to make big plays. Well, they came out and following their acquisition of MGM, it looks like they are really going to go hard, as it's being reported in Deadline that MGM, Amazon, is looking at developing TV shows and movies for the likes of Robocop, Stargate, Legally Blonde, Barbershop, and a whole bunch more. Some TV shows, some movies, and some for both. This comes to us from Deadline, who wrote the following. MGM's extensive film and TV catalog built over the past century was the main driver behind Amazon's $8.5 billion acquisition of the storied Hollywood studio. For the past year, since the deal closed in March of 2022, Amazon Studios has been sifting through MGM's library, identifying about a dozen initial titles for film and or TV development, including Robocop, Stargate, Legally Blonde, Fame, which is a brand name I've not heard spoken in a while. Barbershop, The Magnificent Seven with Antoine Fuqua just did a movie of that a few years ago. Seven. Oh, no, that's Magnificent Seven. I thought there was a comma there. Wait, I got you to see Seven. Pink Panther and The Thomas Crown Affair. Now, they go on to kind of define this a bit. Each title is being approached differently, some being steered towards film, some towards TV, and some big ones are going to get both. For instance, Amazon Studios is in active early conversations on Legally Blonde, both for a movie and a potential TV series, sources said. There have already been on and off efforts to get a third Legally Blonde film off the ground in the past 5 years. Amazon had similar plans for Stargate. We hear both film and TV installments are considered, with a movie likely going first. Robocop is also being talked about for both film and TV, with a TV show possibly first. Deadline here's. Additionally, Amazon Studios is actively developing TV series based on Fame, Barbershop, and The Magnificent Seven, sources said. And Thomas Crown Affair in there for good measure. A couple of interesting ones in there. And let me get these ones out of the way first. Fame. Really? Was that Debbie? Who was like the star of the original Fame? It was Debbie something or other.
The movie or the show?
Because the show was
Debbie
6
Allen?
seasons.
It was Debbie Allen. That's what I was thinking of.
The movie scarred me for life.
A movie about a school of peppy
Misfits.
artist kids. Is that something that's going to sell today? I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
I think so.
Think so?
I think so.
Do you think that's kind of like an afterglow of the Glee success or something
Kind
like
of.
that?
And well, with Fame, you have the potential of it not being all shiny and, very, very auto-tuned and pretty like Glee. Like Fame deals with a lot of really horrible themes. It deals with a lot of familial violence. It deals with drug usage. It deals with the casting couch nature of being an actor. I mean, the Fame film has a scene that is just so jarring that I watched way too young and was like, oh my God, I'll never trust anyone ever. So there's a lot of stuff that you could do that I think people would really resonate with.
It's just an again, it's just not a property I've heard mentioned at all.
Well, and this is like a weird Mount Rushmore of television, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because Legally Blonde's another interesting one.
Yeah.
That's another, really? Legally Blonde. Okay. Again, listen, but then again, I must confess, Legally Blonde was never my wheelhouse, so maybe I'm underestimating just how popular. Like, hey, listen,
Freaking
I'll
love
admit,
it.
I underestimated the frickin' Witch Sisters that Disney
Wicked. Or, I was still in
Hocus
musicals.
Pocus?
On
Hocus Pocus.
Frozen? Or
I drastically underestimated the Hocus Pocus's thing because it ended up being a big hit for them. And I underestimated that. Maybe I'm underestimating this. The ones to me that are standing out, obviously, that are probably most interesting people, Robocop, which I could totally see with today's context that we live in, modern visual effects, go ahead and do a movie. Now, you might be screaming at your monitor right now saying, but John, they did that just a few years ago and the results weren't great. I contend that the results weren't bad. And Rick Flag was the star of that movie, Ray. Joel Kinnaman was your star of that movie. You should be happy about that.
We're talking about Robocop, right?
Yeah. I contend it wasn't that bad of a movie. I mean, it was nowhere near as good as the original, but I thought Michael Keaton was fantastic in it. And I think at minimum, even with its shortcomings, I think the latest Robocop movie, I think it at least showed us what could be done with a good script if you wanted to do RoboCop today. So I could see that. The television aspect of it, though, I find weird because it just kind of becomes another Law and Order weekly
it's a procedural then
crime of the week thing. And I'm also not big on, I've never been big on the idea of doing a movie and TV shows. If it's all connected, right? I've never been a big thing of that.
I think the nostalgia factor of RoboCop runs out real quick. So to do a TV series, you'd have to make it really different or give us something that we haven't seen, some aspect, some angle of this character that we'll keep tuning back in for. You know what I mean? Because after you get over the initial, my favorite part of RoboCop is when they first introduce him and all the cops are like, you just see his footsteps, and then they slowly pan up and show him. That is like one of the greatest entrances in all movies right there. But after that, what else do you have? So
it almost feels like it would be a modern day Knight Rider. Or, deep cut coming. Automan.
I've never heard.
Anybody remember Automan? I don't even think Jonathan could find a picture.
What's Automan?
Automan.
Describe this real quick.
Okay, so Automan was a short-lived television series.
Oh my God.
Based in that came out in the early 80s, and I think it was kind of a not so indirect knockoff of Tron with the growing computer craze at the day.
So is it spelled A-U like automobile?
A-U-T-O, Automan. I think it was. And he was this like computer program come to life. So I don't know what you do there. The one though that I think has the best, there it is, Automan.
Did you ever doubt my skills?
I can't remember what grade I was in when that guy was.
What face is he making right there? Like, oh yeah.
A little bit of a fart.
He's like,
Just a little one cheek sneak.
I was gonna go with I just touched your daughter, and there was his car.
Oh my God.
There's that car. Look at that. It would like spring to life out of the digital realm, and he would go around and fight crime. Automan.
That car is sweet.
Like out of that.
Oh God! You know what else was out in that era? I just remembered. Does anybody remember, deep cut here, The Powers of Matthew Starr? Does anybody remember that? Nope,
What is that?
didn't think so. That was another short-lived science fiction kind of show where this kid finds out that he's actually an alien. There it is, The Powers of Matthew Starr. This kid finds out that he's actually an alien, and he was sent to Earth, and he's got his guardian, and he's going to have these incredible powers, and another alien race is out to get. That's me on the dance floor.
That's nice.
That's
almost
basically
wore that
my
today.
dance moves right there. But anyway, why am I going off on this? Oh, yes, we were talking about Amazon. You want to go deep, Amazon? Reboot some Automan and The Powers of Matthew Starr. Okay, anyway, Stargate. Stargate is the one that to me is the most interesting because Stargate has a track record of being able to have a movie franchise and multiple television franchises. And I know, listen, it's not the biggest fan base in the world, but it is a passionate fan base. The Stargate fan base is a passionate fan base. And I think there is a lot there. I think there's a lot of potential there for rebooting that in both movies and TV shows. Anyway, there's a lot of other things in there. Chris, that's a pretty big laundry list that they said they're going to go into developing. Which are the ones that are more interesting to you?
Thomas Crown Affair. I love
yeah, because
I
that's
love
kind
that.
of like your
Heisty.
Bourne James Bond kind of,
You know, it's got some white
Feisty,
collar
heisty.
notes to it too, especially as a series, right? So you can be looking at the world of, white collar crime and art theft and everything and art plagiarism. And that movie is just sexy. It's just a good one. I love the reboot version with Pierce Brosnan
And Renee
Russo.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh,
I really
so
like that
good.
movie. Yeah.
It's such a great film. So I think there's a lot of potential there. Stargate obviously is something that has definite legs. Legally Blonde, honestly, there is such a huge following to it. I love Legally Blonde. I think it's so fun. And there's a popular musical that they did of Legally Blonde too.
I did not know this.
So they keep mining that one, and I think as long as you get the right Elle Woods, should be a fun time.
I think Barbershop could be really fun.
I mean, that's another one that has always maintained a fan base and has, more importantly, maintained its place in pop culture, right? It's one of those things that's never really disappeared from the zeitgeist. It's always kind of been there. So that could be mined into something really good too. So a lot of stuff on the list. Guys, question is for you. Out of that big list, what are the things that you find most interesting? Is it Fame? Is it Stargate? Is it Robocop? Is it The Powers of Matthew Starr? Oh, that's not on the list, but it should be on the list. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Guys, we want to take a minute and thank the sponsor of today's video, Fume. Listen, cold turkey may be great on sandwiches, but there is a better way to break your habits. And we're not talking about some weird mind voodoo from your crazy neighbor or putting Vaseline on your feet under your socks. No, we're talking about our sponsor, Fume, and they look at the problem in a different way. Not everything in a bad habit is wrong. So instead of a drastic, uncomfortable change, why not just remove the bad from your habit? And Fume is an innovative, award-winning device that does just that. Instead of electronics, Fume's is completely natural. Instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. And instead of harmful chemicals, Fume uses all-natural, delicious flavors. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial and is designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, giving your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for de-stressing and anxiety while breaking your habit. When I first got my Fume, I couldn't believe how beautiful the design was. It's perfectly weighted, and when I breathed it in the first time, I was blown away by just how fresh it tasted. Fume has served over 100,000 customers and has thousands of success stories, and there's no reason that can't be you. Join Fume in accelerating humanity's breakup from destructive habits by picking up the Journey Pack today. Head to tryfume.com and use the code Campea to save 10% off when you get the Journey Pack today. That's tryfum.com and use the code Campea to save an additional 10% off your order today.